Hello, welcome to Papa's House. My name is John Hayes, but my grandchildren call me Papa, and you can too if you like. If you're joining us for the first time, I want you to know that all my family story poems are dedicated to my late wife Nadine, who we called Nana, and to our 3 children and our 9 grandchildren. For the past 60 years, I've been writing stories like these just for myself and my family. But now I'm excited to share these stories with you in hopes that they'll spark a loving family memory of your own. It would mean the world to me if you shared them with your loved ones, young and old, and make sure you stay after each performance, as I'll be sharing my personal history that inspired each story. Today's family story poem is called My First Loose Baby Tooth. It's a short and sweet story with a bit of a twist. It was inspired by my own childhood, where everyone had a different and unique idea about how to get my first loose baby tooth to exit my mouth. I'll even tell you a story about my grandma's dentures at the end, so stick around. I wiggled my first loose baby tooth after I turned 6. I thought, well, this is something Mama should fix. I ran to my Mama with my little mouth open wide. Mama, my tooth wiggles and jiggles, see? Mama cried, oh, your first loose baby tooth. She squealed, let me see. She wiggled it, and she jiggled it, and she giggled with glee. She was giggly giddy about this major malfunction in my mouth. Then she got serious. Her eyes went north. Her smile went south. Sit down, sweetheart. Mama somberly began. Now try to relax. Mama needs a moment to fill you in on a few loose tooth facts. I rarely asked for the many life lessons my mama would teach, but every chance she had, she'd wax wise and deliver a speech. Baby teeth fall out, so grown-up teeth like mine can come in. She said this up in my face, showing her teeth in a huge toothy grin. Take care of your teeth, she warned, so when you're grown up, you won't take your teeth out each night and soak them in a cup. Huh? Oh, okay. That moment was over, but she was giggling again. She told me about the duties of some flying fairy, like it was a friend. When a tooth comes out, we must put it under our pillow at night. The tooth fairy will come to take it away during her fairy flight. Mama recited, she will fly into your room while you are asleep. She'll take the tooth, she'll leave money, money you get to keep. Whoa, time out. Hold on, a flaky fairy flies into my room at night? Suddenly, I became paralyzed with flying tooth fairy fright. My fear, though, passed as images of Candy Cash entered my brain. Okay, she's in. Funding from a cash-carrying pixie sounded insane. I wiggled and jiggled my loose baby tooth, trying to make it fall out. Mama was digging in her sewing box. Now, what is that all about? She sifted through her stuff in search of something serious, no doubt. She set the box down, held up some string, and said with a shout, I found it! I used this sturdy string to sew the stuffing into a goose. We tie a slip knot like this, and we make a lasso, a loose tooth noose. We slip this noose over your tooth, count to 3, and yank it out. I bolted back like a pony with his first bit and said with a stern shout, no, Mama, I'll just fiddle and faddle with it for as long as it takes. Ah, it'll be over in a wink. Be a brave little boy, for heaven's sakes. Then Papa appeared. He held up a pair of rusty needle-nose pliers. Pliers will grip that tooth nice and tight. You one of them baby criers? Meaning, well, Papa said, we'll pull that tooth in a couple yanks. I guarded my tooth with thumb and finger and said, no thanks. My thumb and finger pinch defense made it pop out on its own. I pulled it out myself. I did not yell. I did not cry. I did not moan. Now, this fairy stuff spooked me. So under my pillow, I slipped a note. Take tooth, leave cash, go away, was the flying fairy note I wrote. Simple math proves big money can't be made in a loose tooth game. Never saw the fairy. Baby teeth just vanished. Cash, always the same. Mama and Papa had life lessons for my tooth extraction transactions. Papa would always say, foolish spending does not pay, as I counted coin with miserly satisfaction. Mama would always say, save money for a rainy day, and she would hold Miss Piggy Bank up. Grandma visited, and that's when I saw how teeth can soak in a cup. Miss Piggy got some of my payoffs from the Tooth Fairy exchange. I blew the rest on candy. I got cavities and irony that was so strange. But save your money for a rainy day? Still confuses my brain. Why must I wait to blow my piggy money until it begins to rain? Well, have you ever been or have you witnessed a well-meaning adult who just wants to help their 6-year-old child pull out their first loose baby tooth? Many adults will often make a big deal about this very natural event in their child's life. I wrote this poem in 2017 as a bedtime story for my 2 6-year-old granddaughters. These 2 cousins were then and still are very close. After all, they are the same age, being only 3 months apart. And so when both of them had their 2 front teeth wiggling and jiggling and falling out at the same time, it inspired me to write this family story poem for them. And I first performed it for these 2 tight-at-the-hip cousins during one of their many weekend sleepovers at Papa and Nana's house. I did my best to illustrate the words with my voice, facial expression, and hand gestures, and they giggled pretty much in all the right places. Sometimes they just laughed at me, making faces. And when I wrote this story poem, I was making myself laugh, as I imagined all the gestures and interactions of the characters in this simple story. It was like there was a comedy routine going on in my head. It made me think back to when I was 6 years old and discovered that my 2 front teeth were wobbly. My brother and I were on a weekend sleepover at Grandma and Auntie's house. When I showed Grandma Hayes how something was wrong with my teeth, she said, with this silly smile on her face, "Oh, that's nothing." And she took her whole mouth of teeth out. Grandma started laughing. After I stopped screaming and crying, she explained dentures to me. Do you have a story of your first loose baby tooth? If you're my age, you might have a story that involves dentures. Well, please share them below or on our website, papashouse.com. I look forward to reading every submission and all the comments. I am glad to have you here with me as a part of a special family. If you've made it this far, I think you'll enjoy another of my story poems called Playing with Empty Boxes. Thank you. Except for the trash truck. Do you think you'll hear that?